So let's talk about the Nile. You know, when you look at it, it might seem like just another river, but it's not. The thing is, this river is actually the main character in an epic story. A story of empires, of mystery, and now, a modern conflict that could really reshape an entire continent. So what's the real story of the Nile?
Okay, when I say the Nile, what pops into your head? Probably something like this, right? Pyramids, pharaohs, a scene straight out of an ancient history textbook. And look, that's not wrong, but that's only one chapter in a much, much bigger book. It's a story about geography, power, and a really high-stakes geopolitical struggle that's happening right now.
To really get a handle on the Nile, we have to start with its sheer scale. I mean, this isn't just a river in Egypt. We're talking about a continental lifeline. At over 7,000 kilometers, the Nile is officially the longest river in the world. It's an unbelievable journey that starts deep in the heart of Africa and flows north all the way through these vast deserts to the Mediterranean Sea.
And a journey that long, well, it crosses a lot of borders. The Nile Basin is shared by 11 different countries. Just think about that for a second. 11 nations, all with their own people, their own needs, their own ambitions, all depending on a single source of water. This is exactly where geography starts to become geopolitics.
For centuries, one of the greatest geographical mysteries on the planet was, where does this mighty river actually begin? And the answer, as it turns out, isn't so simple. It's really a puzzle with two very important pieces.
You see, the Nile isn't really one river, it's two. You've got the White Nile, which is kind of like the long, steady marathon runner, providing a consistent flow all year round. But then you have the Blue Nile, coming out of Ethiopia. It's the powerful sprinter. During the rainy season, it contributes the vast majority of the water and, this is the crucial part, that nutrient-rich silt that made ancient civilizations possible in the first place. And today, we can pinpoint their exact origins. The White Nile's farthest source is this small spring in the beautiful, lush Nungwe forest of Rwanda. The Blue Nile, on the other hand, just bursts forth from the highlands of Ethiopia, starting its journey from Lake Tana. So two completely different environments creating one legendary river. So if you've got these two very distinct rivers flowing from totally different parts of the continent, where do they finally become one?
Well, they finally meet at Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. It's incredible. You can literally see the two different colors of water swirling together right there. This is the exact spot where the White and Blue Niles stop being separate, and the single, mighty Nile begins its final journey north to the sea. And here's where the numbers get really interesting. Take a look at the water flow. Even though it's the longer river, the White Nile only provides about a third of the water. The huge majority, over half, comes from Ethiopia, through the Blue Nile and another river called the Atbara. This one fact is absolutely critical to understanding the modern politics of the Nile. The water may flow through Egypt, but it originates in Ethiopia. Remember that. And that amazing flow of water and nutrients, well, that leads us directly to the river's most famous chapter, ancient Egypt. I mean, how did one of the world's greatest civilizations flourish in the middle of a brutal desert? The answer, of course, was the river. The secret sauce was the Blue Nile's predictable summer flood. It was like clockwork. Every year, it was this incredible gift of life that dropped off a fresh layer of unbelievably fertile soil. Without that silt, there are no farms, no food surplus, and ultimately, no pharaohs. It's that simple. But the river didn't just feed them. It shaped their entire existence. As the Sahara Desert dried out, people were pretty much forced to its banks. Their calendar, their science, their whole concept of time was built around the river's 3 seasons. They even tried to engineer and control it with the world's first major dam, almost 5,000 years ago. So, for thousands of years, this power to give life was a blessing. But in our modern era, the power to control that life-giving water has turned the Nile into a source of really intense political conflict. And that brings us to the question at the heart of it all. If 11 countries share the river, who gets to decide how the water is used? Well, for most of the 20th century, the answer was, believe it or not, pretty one-sided. Just take a look at this. This table shows you how that question was answered for decades. A 1959 treaty, which was based on an old colonial-era agreement, gave almost all of the Nile's water to just two countries, Egypt and Sudan. And the 9 upstream nations, including Ethiopia, remember, the source of most of the water, they were allocated 0, not a single drop.
For decades, that crazy imbalance held. But now, it's being challenged by this, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or the GERD. It's Africa's largest dam, built by Ethiopia on the Blue Nile. And it is so much more than just an energy project. It's a physical rejection of those old treaties, and it's a declaration that the upstream nations are now going to claim their share.
This chart really puts the new reality into perspective. Egypt's famous Aswan High Dam, which for decades was this huge symbol of its power in the region, is completely dwarfed by the GERD's potential output. For Ethiopia, this means power for over 60 million people. It's a chance for total economic transformation. But for Egypt, which depends on the Nile for over 95% of its fresh water, this feels like a direct threat to its very survival. This isn't just about electricity, it's a visible symbol of power shifting upriver.
So it all comes down to this. The Nile gave birth to one of the world's great ancient civilizations. But now, as populations boom and climate change makes rainfall less predictable, can it sustain 11 modern nations? The future of this ancient, life-giving river really depends on the answer to that question.